Good afternoon. This is Margaret Arney. I'm from the Fabric Barn in Rosebud, Texas, and we're here for lesson number 4 of our Block of the Month 2023-24. And we are going to have a pretty short one this time, so it's not going to overwhelm you with having to do too many little pieces. So we're going to stop for a minute, pan down so I can let you see what we're going to select from today, and we'll take our pause. Okay, so we're back, and we are going to select from our bags. We want to get the light 2.5 by 3.5 inch strips. We want to get the dark 2.5 by 3.5 inch strips. We want to get the light 2-inch squares and the dark 2-inch squares. It will tell you how many of each on your bags. Then you're going to also make 2 Ziploc bags with D1 and D2 on them. That's for marking later on. So what we're going to do first is we are going to take our 2.5 inch lights, rectangles, and our 2.5 inch light squares, our 2.5 inch dark, and remember, pick different pieces of them so they aren't all the same. They're all different, all from the dark though, and our squares. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to snowball the corners again. But you have to be really careful on which side you're going to snowball them on. So let's start with our lights, and we're going to put our darks over here and our lights over here. So we have a few ways, remember, of putting this on the corner. We have where we can fold it like this and press it. When I press it, I usually use the iron. And then you will lay it on in accordance with the direction that it tells you on your pattern. And I'm going to lay it on here first so that I get it correct, and then I'll turn it around for you. So it goes from here to here. Or you can take and you can put a line across it. I use my friction pen, and I'm not going to keep anything except a friction pen anywhere close to anything of mine anymore, because I had a disaster happen with a white background the other day. I bumped a pen that was sitting next to it, and the block was half done, and it put a line on it. Oh, no. And I could not get it out. On a white background. So I tried everything. So luckily I was able to replace it, but I had to take half of my... You're going to take your block apart, didn't you? Yes, and it wasn't fun. It hurt a lot. Yeah, no, I bet. And so just be really careful with pens when you're around. So I'm using friction pens. So you draw your line from corner to corner, and then you lay that on one of your lights. And then the third way is my favorite way, and that's just using blue tape on my sewing machine, and I will show that to you again as we do this stitching. So you will also notice on your pattern there's a little black arrow that goes up on the light with the dark corners. It says to iron the seam towards the top corner. So you want to make sure that you do that. We'll do exactly the same thing with the other ones. So let's stop for a minute, move to the sewing machine, and I'll demonstrate these. Okay, so ladies, we're back, and we've moved the camera around, so we hope that you get a real good angle on stitching this. We want to stitch one thread over from our line. This is the one that has a line on it. We want to stitch one thread over towards this corner. And so I'm going to put this, I have a sew on, sew off, what I call a sew on, sew off here. So it will catch any threads and it won't eat my corner. So I'm going to sew right to the edge of it. And then I will put this under it and make it stitch one thread towards this side. And I'll line this end up down here, and also that will help also. So we're just going to go straight down. And sew off the edge. Now you can pull it off and clip it if you want to clip it off, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you the one that we pressed with the fold. And this is block D1 that we're doing, the light with the dark corner. And notice that it is on this corner and the line is going this way. The direction is very important on this, and you'll find out next month why. So just remember, the direction is very important on these. So I'm going to, again, the fold is right here. I'm going to put it up underneath there and go one stitch thread over towards this point. So that's two ways.
So we are going from top left to bottom right in our stitching.
Correct, yes. So that's your D1s. So you are going to do your D1s like that. So I'm going to clip them off here. Now I would normally go to my ironing board and iron it this direction, but my finger will press it just as well. And you want this corner to match that corner, like that. And then you're going to take and you're going to trim this off a 1/4 inch away or thereabouts. Now, if you love little tiny things, you could have stitched another line there and you could make a really tiny half square triangle, but I'm not into that. So that will go in the trash. So now we've got this, and it said to iron it towards the dark. So we're going to iron it up like this. So the seam is going to go towards the outside edge on these. Again, on this one, this had the line written on it, drawn on it. We'll do it again. And the reason we went one thread to that side of the line was so that it would match the corners. Otherwise, it comes back just a tiny bit from the corner, so it doesn't make a perfect rectangle. So we fold it like that. Trim it off. So you will do all of your lights with the dark like this. It tells you the exact number you need. And you will take bag D1 and put them in there so you don't mix them up with anything else. And seal it up so they don't fall out. Now we're going to move on to D2. D2 is exactly the same, except that you're going to use a light one with a dark background. And you're going to lay it the exact same direction. This one has the line on it from corner to corner, and you just stitch it on. One thread over. And then this one has no line and it's not folded. So this is the way I like it to do it. I will put it right up here where the needle's going to sew on 1 stitch over to that corner. And then this corner I'm going to lay on my blue line. What I've done is I have taken a blue tape, piece of painter's tape, and I've laid this right where the needle comes down, where I want it, and make sure it's straight. You've got lines that you can compare it with, and then I put the blue tape on here. And it does a couple things really, the blue tape. I even leave it on when I'm doing a 1/4 inch. So I've got this started, and I'll tell you about the 1/4 inch in just a minute. Oops. I'm gonna have to start that one again. Ladies, we had to take a little break because I did something you're not supposed to do with your sewing machine. I turned the wheel backwards instead of frontwards, and that's not a smart thing to do. We lost a thread in the bobbin, and it took a little bit to get it undone. So I'm going to start from where we left off. We had stitched one that was on the line already, and now we're going to go to just stitching it straight on your putting the one point up next to the needle and the other one down here right next to your blue tape, and stitching straight down. If you keep this end right there, you will, the needle will take care of itself. So then you will put it again, another one, and we're stitching the dark rectangle with the light corner, and it's exactly the same orientation as the light ones were. So just remember, all of these are this orientation.
Yes, Arnie, they can't see. There you go.
There you go. And so that's how you do those. But I was going to tell you about another little advantage to having this blue tape on here. I found even when I was sewing a 1/4 inch, sometimes the seam would catch and it would flip the seam, and having the blue tape right along there helps it not flip the seam. So I leave my blue tape there all the time, even though I'm not using this line, I'm using the 1/4 inch, and that it just makes it a smooth
transition
stitch over. So we're going to take those off and again iron them towards and on your direction you iron them towards the light in this case. So we'll fold them like this, match this corner right here. If it matches, then you can cut off the back 2 layers and you will iron them that direction. So all of these are going to be ironed towards the light. Again, we'll do this one. I didn't do too well on stitching that one. I don't like it. See, it does. It's not correct. So this one gets ripped out. Even I rip things out. That's why my ripper's almost worn out. So you iron this one and trim it. And then iron them with your iron to make sure that they're all nice and flat. Take these, put them in bag D2. follow your instructions on your pattern, how many to do, and zip them in and save these till next month because you're going to be using these next month also. So that's it for today. We will see you next month. Bye, ladies.
Bye, Miss Arnie. Where are you? Where are you?
Way over here.